Back in house with Coach Nix. Coach, we was out here last week. We knew you was taking on Cedar Bluff, and Coach Crane been up against it a little bit over there. But you wanted to see your guys execute, do what they had to do to get the win. Take us back to last Friday night and what transpired in a 34-6 victory over Cedar Bluff.
Yeah, I feel like at times. I mean, first of all, we got a region win on the road, and
you take that anytime,
all day. And so the message to the team after it was, Can you get a wake-up call after a win? Can you get a wake-up call? Because only elite teams can do that. A lot of teams have to have a loss before you get a wake-up call.
That's a good point.
In the Pisgah game, we got exposed on some stuff, and our team responded with a wake-up call. And, I saw the defensive backs working harder. I saw more film being watched. I saw more position meetings. I saw urgency. And, but it took a loss in order to get that urgency. And so, first you make your habits, then your habits make you.
That's a good point.
And so what we got to do this week is we got to recreate some habits, and we got to look at some things because, yes, we won, 34-6, and everybody got to play and all that, but I was, at times I was very discouraged with some of the details, the lack of details. So stuff that's, when you're playing wide open, things are going to happen. And we always want our players here to not be afraid of making a mistake. I would rather you go full speed making that mistake. The least amount of thinking possible makes fast players. Keep it likable and learnable. But also on that flip side, we got to make sure that, what is your standard each week, no matter who you're playing. An interesting fact, it takes less than 24 to 48 hours for rust to start appearing on something if the right symptoms are there. And so rust starts from inside out. And so we got to make sure each week that we're checking for rust. Are we checking anything in our program that has rust? And we don't want rust to start. And so I think this week's going to be a fun week. These are weeks as a coach, sometimes when certain things don't go the way that it's scripted out, it gives you an opportunity to coach, and we just want our players to see that. And, but there was a lot of players that did a good job. There was several of them that played to our standard, played to our expectations, and so we just got to show that on film, and then we got to, call out the other ones that, for whatever reason didn't play to the standard. And I think it's easy on this team to do that because our players expect a certain standard. And once they see, our coach used to say the big eye don't lie. Well, today the big eye ain't gonna lie on some of it, And so you just don't want to create habits that'll catch up with you later. And, Isaiah Nevins, played at a high speed all week. He had 13 tackles. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's had, close to, 15 tackles. And so anytime you got a linebacker that's doing that, and he got hit so hard on a kickoff. Destroyed on a kickoff. And one of those plays where you look at that and you go, I don't know if this kid's going to pop up.
Oh, wow.
He was like a cat. He's
got
like
right
a
back
cat
up?
that you put in a pool. Man, he got right back on his feet, and the next play went back to work, and he come over and he said, man, he got me good. He got me good. But that kind of toughness and that kind of grit, and we got players that are doing that. Braxton Salster had another a good night. We limited his play on defense some, but he wound up with 7 tackles and only played a quarter of football. A little over a quarter of football. So when he's in the game, he's a difference maker on defense, and
he's good.
Ain't no doubt.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and Caden Vick, running the ball, had another good night, and he's got so much better since last year. His football IQ is getting smarter and smarter. Offensive line, I thought, did good at times. I think really, our deal was just at times we were doing good, at times we wasn't. And so we just got to be more consistent.
You hit on something a minute ago. You want to see these guys execute no matter who's in front of them.
That's right.
And you don't want to see the rust start setting in.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you really look for? Like, I know obviously effort's at the top of the list, but some of the other intangibles, when you go cut that film on, that you're going to be like, hey, you're going to be graded on this. I don't care who is in front of us.
Yeah, are you going to the whistle? Number one, are you going to the whistle? What are your details, no matter who you're playing? Like if we're going to kick out somebody, are we missing inside? Are we gang tackling? Are we all trying to get to the ball? Are we taking right pursuit angles? Are we smart players and throwing the ball out of bounds sometimes? You always don't have to prove your manhood on every play. And that goes with, preventable injuries sometimes. Situations where it's okay, to get a ball and take a knee, and I don't have to do that. Or when do I go out of bounds? When do I stay in bounds? Just our football IQ on that. And sometimes, I know we live in a stat world, and everybody loves these stats and this, but, sometimes when, your varsity's not playing 4 quarters, your stats are not going to be as good as somebody else. So you're comparing yourself to somebody else that might be in another situation.
That's right.
There is never a bad thing when you get to put in backups and you've taken care of a game, because that shows growth for the whole.
That's right.
And that's what we want to see.
Set you up too for the future.
Instead, like a lot of times people say, you have a good year every now and then. What you want to do is get into a reload. Boom, I got another shell in there, I'm reloading. It ain't like we got down years, we reload.
Yep.
And last week was a good week on rewarding a reload. Getting to take junior high to varsity to the cookout. We loaded up after practice and took, 7 through 12. They've got 1 loss on junior high and we got 1 loss on varsity. So that's 7 through 12. So that's a reload that I'm talking about, But everybody's got to remember, what did it take to get to here to this reload? It was a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work. And now that, it's a whole lot easier to pull somebody down than keep rising somebody up. And so what we've got to do is we've got to reset that standard each week,
Yeah, because you can get stale really quickly.
Yeah, but here's what I love about this team. And not one time do we have to worry about them being physical on Friday night.
All right.
Their effort is there. They're physical, and they love the game of football.
Unfortunately, it's not like that everywhere.
No, and that goes a long way with them. So, we had to make sure that the players knew, hey, we're not mad at you. We just want to see the standard keep going up, because sometimes, everybody's got those players that get sensitive, and so.
No doubt.
And we look at the scoreboard and we say, hey, what is there to worry about? We're winning. But, also as a coach, sometimes you see ahead of some problems. You have to be a firefighter and try to put out these small fires before they get big. Yeah. It's details. Before
they come to a huge fire.
That's it.
That's correct. This week you got Gaston, Coach Dupree's taking over there. He's got a couple of guys. He's still trying to put things together over there, but they're a team that I'm sure that you guys have been dialed in on and watched tons of film on.
Yeah,
what have you seen from them?
They're hard-nosed and play hard, and last week there were some plays that could have went either way with him in section, and section just found a way to make a few more plays than Gaston, but Gaston was right in it, and so
they've been in a lot of games.
They've been in a lot of games, and so that's what we've got to do is we got, the biggest thing is sometimes when you put on film of teaching your players and us going over this, of everybody looks for the negative of something on film, okay? Very seldom do you focus on what are they doing good, and when they put all that together, what team they could be. You might look at, hey, week 3 they did this. Well, they ain't staying at that level.
Right.
Look at your game at Pisgah when you made some mistakes. Have you grown from that?
Yeah.
Well, then so is the other team.
That's
so they're not going to make that same mistake.
That's a good way to look at it.
You're going to have to force that mistake.
That's right.
And sometimes, we know a train's coming, but that don't mean you can stop it.
That's right.
There's railroad tracks, there's crossing, there's lights flashing. But at the end of the day, you can get out there and try to stop it, but the train's coming.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out what are the deal on Friday night that your train is going.
That's right.
You know, what is your standard? What is your superpower that you bring? And I think that's what's neat about this team is we got different players that bring different things. And just because I'm bringing this to the table and this guy's bringing this to the table doesn't mean he's more valuable than me. But if we put all these things together and work one unit and we bring all that to the table, I mean, you got to train with full steam.
How hard is it to get to that?
You know, I think it just takes everybody being on the same page. I think everybody's got to, you know, number one, you got to want to grow. You know, you as a coach, you got to want to grow. You know, I mean, this is year 25 for me. I mean, I still got connections with coaches that I call weekly. You know, and none of us are doing it at the highest level possible. But, you know, you have to share ideas, and sometimes, you know, you have coaches you lean on and coaches that lean on you. And it's the same thing with players. Like, I think sometimes it's important for players to see the coach doesn't have all the answer either. Okay, but what we do have is we have work ethic. Are we willing to work to find those answers? And, you know, if you'll work hard for something, it just seems like more stuff comes to you.
It comes to you naturally.
Yes, it comes to you naturally.
Fruit of the labor. It talks about it in the good book.
And sometimes, like, it's not the fact you got to go get somebody to solve your problems, you know. It's like you got to work to fix your problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt. Coach, before we shut it down, I always like to kick it back to you just for final thoughts. Could be anything related to the program.
Yeah, I definitely say it's a full moon. You know, I think the harvest moon's tonight. You know, so I definitely.
That's when the crazies come out.
That's when the crazies come out. So, but anyway, you know, it's exciting to be a coach.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I wouldn't change my livelihood for anything. You know,
that's right.
I've been to work a day in my life. I mean, love what I do, and you know, and I think today somebody said it's National Coaches Day. And,
is it really?
Yeah, and so I didn't even know. I mean, there's a National Everything Day.
I didn't know that.
And so today, evidently, is National Coaches Day, and
that's pretty cool.
You know, just how many coaches that I've been a part of, you know, that I call friends now, that you never knew them before you came somewhere.
Right.
Like nobody on this staff that works right now that I ever know before I came to Pleasant Valley. And, you know, and thinking about that from Ragland to Asheville to everywhere that I've been, from Pennington, you know, how many coaches that you're still connected with that you call friends that before you started coaching together, you didn't even know each other.
That's wild.
So, you know, to me, a coaching family is so important. You know,
oh, for sure.
Yep. And so there's so many good coaches out there.
There's a lot of them, and like you said, it's good to lean on them lean on you. It's a fraternity.
It is. It's a brotherhood for sure.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. Well, Coach, I appreciate you sitting in with us, and good luck to you guys on Friday. Y'all are at Gaston?
We're at Gaston. Yep.
Dude, I may try to come out there and see you guys.
Yep.
Because I got to hit a couple around that area. I may come shoot some pictures for you guys. I appreciate you sitting in with us, Coach. Thank you.
All right, thank you.